why the heck are you doing a solution-focused coaching training as a product owner? Isn't it actually something only for Agile coaches and Scrum Masters? And shouldn't product owners actually focus on user problems rather than solutions? These and many similar questions approached me the past 1.5 years since I did my great coaching training at Veronica and Ralph. And yeah, let me tell you more about it. I'm Alexander Giurca. I'm product owner and community of practice lead at the company Untis GmbH. The company exists since over 50 years now, and we are in EdTech, and we enable schools to run smoothly. And we have a user base of over 4 million people. And today, I would like to tell you more about how solution focus can really help product owners to reach high performance, to build better products, and to really involve stakeholders and users in a great, effective, and efficient way. I'm sure you know some of these things here. They are all methods and meetings that we use in product ownership. And unfortunately, the best methods are quite useless if you do not get the right information. Stakeholder involvement is useless if you don't really get to the core need that they have. And so we can learn more about methods in all the trainings that we do, but there is actually one very essential thing that they all have in common, and that's, who would have noticed, individuals and interactions. It's the first Agile value, and in my opinion, this is what is the primary success factor for product owner. So if you do not get your stakeholders involved very good, if you do not get the right information, what's the point? If you do not get the right information in a user story, for a user story, you're gonna build the wrong product, even though you know how a user story works. As a user, and you know the drill. So, just as a short question, because we all had a break right now, who of you is actually a product owner or has been in product ownership? Can you please stand up? Okay, quite a lot. Okay, thanks. Who of you is a coach or an Agile coach? Okay, great. Who's on the Scrum Mastery? All right, I see very sporty people here. Okay, and what about the others? What have I missed?
I'm a technical project manager.
Okay, great. Cool. So, let me tell you more about solution focus because, yeah, it's just something that might not be in your work every day. Looking at this time axis and negative and positive, past and future, we have on the top the solution focus and on the bottom the problem focus. So someone who is solution focused would always go for the preferred future, right? So not looking at the troubled past, asking the question why or warum. Why are you angry? Why do you need that? Why? But looking at the preferred future. So what we're really trying to do as product owners in general, right, is to make a better future for our users. We're trying to create the preferred future for them. And we can use resources from the past that, well, actually benefit the preferred future. I have 2 examples for you where solution focus has really come in handy for me. And that's the first one that just happened recently. It's a submit feedback button. I guess the product owners here, you like user feedback, right? So that's kind of what we're trying to get. And looking at these people here, these are our partners that do sales and support for Untis. Now, we didn't involve them too much. We communicated it, but we didn't involve them quite a lot. So what do you think happened when we introduced this button? Panic, yeah. There was a lot of emotion. Not all of them were angry. Some were confused. A lot were just didn't like the idea. So things came like, what do you do with support tickets that get in that tool? How can we actually see what comes in? And everything was basically around the tool. So just very much negative feedback. And in that short time, we just collected basically what came. And some actually liked the idea, which was nice. But definitely not the most. So what I thought about, we had a meeting 2 weeks after to kind of solve this. So we really wanted to collaborate with the partners on that. So the way I did it was by using scaling. When you look at a scale, right, from 1 to 10, in general, what happens is that asking a scaling question takes away the absolutism in the things people say. So there's not only good and bad, black and white. There are really many shades of gray. So I prepared something like, hey, on a scale from 1 to 10, where 10 means all of my concerns are addressed, and I can go with that feedback button, or I just don't care about it because some just didn't care or actually liked the idea and want the contrary. Where are you standing? The way I did it was by simply giving out these cards, and each partner got it and wrote and made 4 columns. Each column standing for a number. So my idea was, in the first column, we would check out where are they standing right now. What is that good for? Well, without discussing already the topic, what was going on, I could already see how generally the partners are doing. So are there like some who like the idea? Are there some who absolutely hate it? So what's going on? Without discussion. Why? Because if I would let the extroverts talk at first, and the people who are very much resisting or have a very negative opinion about that, they would influence the others. So I didn't want that. So by just using these cards, writing down a number, you could get all the opinions. And then the idea was presenting the first solution that we thought about, the second solution, and then the third solution. In the meeting that I told you about, very much was around the tool, which confused me. And we didn't have enough time to elaborate, but we thought about 3 solutions around the tool. One comment, as I already said, it was, hey, what about the support tickets there? So one goal was to reduce the support tickets in the tool. So our first hypothesis was, okay, if we take the submit feedback button and rename it to submit feature requests, maybe support tickets will go down. Let's see what the partners say. Second solution, potential solution, was let's create a support ticket button below. If users see create feature requests and create support ticket or submit support ticket, then maybe the support tickets just go down. And the third hypothesis was that there is another topic actually behind it. So that's the one where we wanted to collaborate. 2 weeks after, we're in the meeting. We were around 12 people. So these are all the scales. I actually have the real cards right here. I just let them write down what they think about that scaling question. So hey, all concerns are addressed, and you can go with the tool, and one the contrary. So what happened? that was the actual energy in the room. It wasn't too bad, so they didn't like hate the tool, right? There was one fan, the third one. There were others who have an idea. So it wasn't too bad. So kind of what's going on, right? And what I did afterwards was I presented the first hypothesis which I had. Let's name it submit feature requests. The room exploded. I didn't know what happened. The same arguments came as before. What about the support tickets? What about that? What about the tool? And so on. And I was really, really confused and was really trying to take a solution-focused approach here, to listen to signs of progress, to try to understand what their need is. And it was really, really hard because everything was going so fast. And 3 things from solution focus came into my mind when this happened. Something that might be a bit weird at the beginning, but just think about it. A quote from Veronika Jungwirth in the first row. There is no resistance. There are just badly formulated needs. I was confused when I heard that at the beginning. But if you think about the implications that this has, knowing that resistance, that there is no resistance, or when you interpret it as resistance, people just didn't formulate it in a good way, probably, you can start asking questions. And if people resist, be honest. They're the ones that are actually the most engaged, the most committed to a thing. So these are actually valuable things that they say. So why not take them as something that is of high quality? And with this concept also, when looking inside, right, into yourself, into your attitude, you do not start to be into a defensive mode anymore, trying to basically defend your solution, right? But you try to be more interested in what they want to say and start asking questions. Second thing that helped me, added brackets. Imagine someone coming to you and saying, you promised this feature will come into the next release. Several options how you would react. No, I didn't. You don't tell me when I release something. I'm the product owner, not you. Or you could just, in your brain, in your mind, add a bracket and take away the pressure words. You promised, okay, he understood it this way, okay, to chill yourself, right? So get back to earth. Why, or what is that good for? Well, we have something that is called subtext. So whenever you say something and don't really mean it, people hear it. So think about that. Be honest with people. Just the added brackets in every situation where we have generalizations. All customers will cancel their subscription if we do not implement this feature. Probably not. Maybe a few, but not all. Add a bracket there in your brain, chill down. That's one thing. Helped me a lot during my solution-focused coaching training to really get this attitude and really live the quote that I told you before, there is no resistance, but there are just badly formulated wishes. And then there's something very powerful, which is called linguistic turns. Let's look at the first one. But, and instead of but. Can someone tell me one very annoying sentence that they experienced that had a but inside? Think about it. One that really kind of was annoying. Yeah.
Every sentence
Yeah, you feel very valued in that moment, right? Absolutely. Or, it's such a good idea, but we don't have time. It's annoying, right? So many of us, when they hear a but, they just forget about the first sentence and they just focus on the second one. So it really makes a big difference to turn that but to an end. There is a nice quote here, which you can read for yourself, from Rosenberg. And it was funny because when I came to the Agile Tour Vienna, I'm from Linz. I was in the train and I was reading through my slides, and just in that moment, I heard one angry, I think he was an executive, "Yes, I understand, but that's not working." Okay, maybe added brackets and this linguistic turn would have been something I could provide, but not my circus, not my monkeys. And so I just chilled down. Maybe he understood, but he didn't really mean it, right? It was really nice. Maybe that person is here today, then I'm sorry. So you saw the other two linguistic turns being what instead of not, and what for instead of why. So let me tell you again on this solution-focused graph here what that means. So when people tell you, "I do not like apples," simple example, right? As a product owner, when you hear that, would you stop there? Oh yeah, no, he doesn't like apples. Got it, feature request. Probably not. Because people, when they talk in not, they are here in the troubled past. And we as a product owners want to create a preferred future. So ask them, what do you want instead? Because there are a lot of solutions that are possible with that. Okay, everyone knows what they don't want, but what do they really want? That's the one key thing that we have to keep in mind and that we have to focus on. And the other linguistic term being what for or wozu instead of why, warum. I'm quite sure that you've experienced in your past when people ask you why, that you get into a defensive mode and start reasoning, give them explanations, why this or that happened. Doesn't help. I don't like that. I don't like it when people ask me why. And in user interviews, I find what for to be much more powerful, because we're not in the troubled past, but in the preferred future. So when you read those blogs saying, product owners should focus on user problems, what exactly is that good for? Yes, we need to understand the topic, because we need to understand the market. But do we really need to understand the problem that they have, something that they want to get away from? How does it help us to build a better product? We need to understand the need they have, and it doesn't stop there. More to that later. So the conversation, back to the story. The conversation was going on, and finally I heard two things that turned this conversation to something very, very valuable. One of the partners said, okay, so for 6 years now, we're providing you feature requests, and you do not implement them, and now you create the submit feedback or submit feature request button. What about us? And what is our role then? So the actual topic was not the tool. They didn't actually care about that. You saw it in the first question. It was just that for years, they were trying to put feature requests in, and we didn't implement them. I've been for around 2 years at Untis, and this was happening for much more years, so I just didn't get it in the meeting, right? But okay, I got all the emotion in that meeting, no worries. As a solution-focused product owner, I listen for progress, signs of progress. I try to give them the room, the safe room that they need to really express what they want to say. I'm in an attitude of not knowing, so I can ask interesting questions. And I focus on what works and on the preferred future. And I add some edit brackets. So I was saying to the partners, hey, is it actually that you want to be heard and taken seriously? And we found the actual thing. So what we did was, we collaborated on a third solution, and the third solution being, hey, we will create more clarity on the feature requests process, whatever. And the second one being, we will create a so-called partner journey where the whole year we show you where we involve you, what your responsibilities are, what our responsibilities are, and how we deal with that. So we want to make this transparent. You remember this? So we went to now, like the initial question was, all of your concerns are addressed and so on. Then I asked, hey, if we implement the contact support button, what do you think? Because like the first solution didn't work. It was submit feature request and it caused emotional outburst. So I didn't ask about that anymore, because if something doesn't work, try something else and work on what works. So I didn't want to get back to the triggers. So what happened with the second solution being the contact support thing? People were moving up the scale. So we're almost quite great, right? And last but not least, the third hypothesis or solution that we co-created was the partner journey and the clarity on feature requests. And we got everyone on board and involved. So it was a hidden topic that was really hard to find out, but it was super important for the overall organization, which I found out together with them in a solution-focused way. So looking at the attitudes of solution focus, when you hear people resisting, you know what to think, right? There's no resistance, just badly formulated needs. Add a bracket in your head to chill down, work on what works. If something doesn't work, try something else. Be in a position of not knowing, so you start asking questions and be interested. Focus on the preferred future. And these are all attitudes and principles from solution focus. It sounds cheesy, and to be able to get this attitude, you will need to work on yourself, I'm sorry to tell you. It doesn't work from today to tomorrow. It's really a hard job, but it's so worth it. Meetings get much better. You can deal with emotional customers much better, with emotional users. You get to the preferred future much faster, and so on. Do you have any questions so far? Right? This is a lie. I don't. But I want to show you something with this. I work out sometimes. Think about sometimes and how often it is for you. And now, you know the standing up game now? Who of you thought of once in a week? Okay. Great. Not everyone shares your opinion, obviously. Who of you thought of 2 times or more in a week? Okay. Got it. Who of you thought only once in a month? Good job working on that body. And who of you was like once in a year? I'm sure there was. Oh, there we go. Yes. Thank you for being honest. Courageous. What I want to show, what I want to tell you is the word sometimes, everyone understands something differently with that. It's the same with needs. So only because someone tells you they have a need for signalizing or a need for whatever, doesn't mean that it's the same that you understand with that word. I'll give you an example. Oh, and there's one more word here that we could check, but we won't, and that's workout. That's also something where people would say, hey, what is workout for you? Standing out of the bed or really going into the gym? So this is maybe a more day-to-day example in product owners' work. What you see here is a digital pin board where school administrators can just pin something and users can read it, right? So if I'm a parent, I would log in and then I would see what the administrator wrote on that pin board. And what's going on here, you see the colors, and we're moving to a new technology stack, and we couldn't take this color with us anymore. So the editor doesn't allow it anymore, and it brings HTML editor, security leaks, you know the drill, some of you. So I went into user interviews and tried to find out what to use it for. Now, in user interviews, what often in blog posts is being written is look for the need or look for the problem. And in my experience, quite a lot of product owners stop at the need. So when they found the need, they're just like, okay, let's go to refinement and user stories, and just let's tell the developers what's going on. We'll find a technical solution together. The thing is, when we look at solution focus, there's a bit more to it. So at the messages of the day, at the color here, I was trying to find out what difference it makes to them to have this color, how they are using it, what effects this color has on in their day-to-day job, what effects it has on the parents, so bringing a new perspective, letting them think outside the box, what effect it has on teachers, and so on. And I was really trying to get to, hey, when you work with that color, how can I imagine, like, what effect does it really have on all these stakeholders, and what do you use it for? So what the need was, it was a signalizing need. So what does that mean? I could ask each and one of you what you understand with the word signalizing. You will probably all tell me something different, or many of you, but we're not getting there. So I asked, hey, how would you notice that the signalizing would be successful? How would the teachers notice that the signalizing is successful? What exactly would we signalize? And very much questions into the preferred future. So 1 year from now, when looking back and you have those colors, what is different? What has happened? Just let me know your thoughts. So we got to signalizing, and what happened was the tasks that they mentioned actually was, for example, when parents log in and they see the color, they know from which recipient this came. Or you all know the Corona traffic light, Corona Ampel. Schools were really impacted by that, and they really needed to always push this information to each student, teacher, and student, teacher, and parents. So what they used the colors for was also to just write, hey, the Corona traffic light today is green. Or use it for categories, as you see in this picture right here. So they didn't actually care about the color of the text. They just wanted to signalize something. And what we did was this solution. We didn't care about the color of the text anymore, but we just created a header and colored that. Simple. We saved quite a lot of money with that, because if we had to implement, or if we would have implemented the coloring the text, that would just cost too much. So we saved quite a lot of money for the company with asking questions directed into the preferred future and not stopping at, no, you cannot remove that feature. And then I'm just like pressured product owner and say, okay, devs, we have to do this, and you have to implement it. Otherwise, we will lose one customer out of our 25,000. We didn't change the world with this, but we saved money. And if you use this for your day-to-day job as a product owner, maybe you can save money for the company too, and you can just focus on what should be prioritized in the backlog and what creates value. So you know it. When we go into user interviews, try to get in with an attitude of not knowing. I know that we as product leaders or owners know a lot about the market. And that's dangerous. Because if we go in with a lot of, I know how it works, yeah, heard that one before, let's move on to the next user interview, we might miss very valuable information just because we think we know. Signalizing. Okay, thank you for letting me know your need. I'll check that out. And then you write the user story, implement the functionality, and then it's not what they actually want. And acknowledge that the users are actually the experts in their field. Yes, you can become an expert too in the product owner field. And the people that use it on a day-to-day basis are the ones who are the experts, so acknowledge that. Work on the preferred future. There's really a lot of mindset change with all this solution focus. And I know that it's a long journey, but you could really benefit from that. Because you get the real information that you need to build your product. Right at the beginning. You do not manage your stakeholders. People don't like to get managed, as we heard in the first talk today, at the keynote. Involve them. They want to be involved. Find out about their needs, about their interests, about their goals. Get them on board. Focus on the preferred future, not on the problem and how it turned up. And you will see that it really makes a difference in your product owner job. So yes, it's important to know all the methods that are outside there because they are valuable to our product owner job. And in my opinion, it's just even more important to know how to ask the right questions, to have an attitude that is also beneficial for our mental health, because if we know how to deal with emotional customers, we don't get emotional too, right? And just try to listen in conversations for needs, for signs of progress, and work on what works. Just take 1 minute for yourself and think about 3 key takeaways from this talk and how they can benefit your day-to-day job as product leader, Agile coach, technical project manager. Got some recommendations for you if you are interested in actually becoming a solution-focused person, coach, product owner. I can really recommend the training from Veronika and Ralf from Sinnvoll Führen. It's excellent, and you really work on attitudes and principles. Read the book from Veronika and Ralf, and also the book from McCurgo and Paul Jackson. These are powerful books, and you will see that they really make a difference. Thank you very much.